day 3 in Norway, and another spectacular day. So previous film last night, we were in Tromsø, down at the kind of marina, the harbour area. It was beautiful, but it was snowing very, very heavily. So we went and had some food at Tromsø, a nice restaurant there. But woken up this morning and blue sky, amazing. Although snow passing over, so we're just driven up. We're north of Tromsø. Again, I'll try and put the detail in the film somewhere so you can see where we are, maybe look at a map or whatever, or visit yourself. And as we're driving up, there's been snow flurries, and we've just been here for about kind of 10 or 15 minutes. Just pulled up the side of the road, and snow has passed kind of down this fjord, and now it's cleared and gone. And this is a kind of classic Norwegian scene. Got this kind of little red building, some snow on this kind of jetty, looking across the fjord to the mountains, and there's a couple of buildings, nice colourful kind of yellow and red buildings over in the distance. So I'm set up. I'm using a composition. Obviously, this building in the foreground is kind of the real interest with this jetty. So I'm using this composition, but there's the nice background. So I'm on f/16 because it gives me a good big depth of field, and it's so bright. Kind of that old cliche, kind of f/16 and be there on a sunny day. So beautiful sunny day. Not put a filter in yet, but I probably will do in a minute. But I'll show you the composition because I think it's pretty nice. Just using it on my rule of thirds in this bottom corner. I got this building, and then looking across the fjord. I've got the building on that rule of thirds, and the jetty kind of intersects on that rule of thirds, and then the mountains in the distance are on my top rule of thirds. Hope all that makes sense. So I'll take an image. I'm on f/16. It's giving me a 50th of a second. I'm taking a reading off this snow here in the foreground on the jetty because that's the brightest bit. But I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to drop a filter in because there is a little bit of shadow just here on this side of the building. So I'm going to drop a filter in just to try and balance that up. But I won't talk you through that process. But I'll put my filter at an angle coming this way to try and balance that shadow to get a kind of more even kind of picture. It's about, I think the car said it's about -5. Does it feel -5, Una? It doesn't feel -5. Feels, my fingers are getting a bit chilly, but that's because I've been touching the tripod. It is funny when you're in here. My hands have not been really cold at all until you touch the metal of the tripod, and then obviously kind of immediately all the kind of the warmth gets sucked out your fingers. But anyway, I'm going to drop the filter in, take another image here, and then we're going to head for a bit of an adventure. But Una's eaten all the jelly snakes.
No, I haven't.
Yes, she has. One of the great things about Norway is almost every corner you come round, there is something to photograph. Although it's one of the real challenges in Norway because you keep thinking, I'll stop. One of the things that it don't do, or seem to do very much, is have parking places. So, you know, you can't, if you look at this, I'll show you this road. So the roads are like this, which is fantastic. You know, look at that. But there's often nowhere to stop. So when you see somewhere to stop, you've got to take your chance. And then I saw this kind of collection of buildings, and it's just absolutely stunning. A kind of classic Norwegian shot. Some red buildings, snow, bit of a lake. And I'm just taking a photo now because the sun is shining on it. But I've zoomed in to get a nice composition because of those buildings are kind of the interesting piece. And I'll show you the composition. So they've got the buildings down here on kind of my rule of thirds, and then kind of mountains with a cloud in the background. It's just everywhere you look is amazing. Challenging these circumstances. White snow is, I've mentioned in previous films, people will often look at photographing white snow and think, oh, I've got to kind of compensate for the exposure on the snow and make the snow kind of have a kind of a neutral reading, but you're wrong if you do that because if I look across there now at the snow, there's bits of the snow that I can see no detail in because it's bright white. If I tried to take a photograph that rendered that bit of snow kind of, you know, plain, it wouldn't look natural. I need to have the snow. Don't be afraid to have bits of snow that are kind of bright and kind of look overexposed, because that's how you see it. So kind of don't get obsessed with trying to kind of damp down the lighting on the snow. Don't worry about it. Expect kind of blown highlights. But I'm going to see if I can get down somewhere near the near the shore bit, although it might be a little bit of a challenge because I quite like that sweep of the bay around here. So I might just head up that way a bit, see if I can get the sweep of the bay and do a kind of a panorama to get those buildings in. But I like the shape of this bay coming around here because it kind of loops around and then loops around to the houses. So I might just head up that way a bit and do that. Wow, 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 wow. Look at that, sun is on. Snow is in the background. So just looking across, I'm sorry about this, I'm working really quickly because I'm making the most of it while, so I was drawn to this amazing bit of light shining on here, and the darkness kind of the snow in the background, the darkness of the fjord, the reflection, it's almost too good to be true. It's just absolutely stunning. And talking of stunning, where's Una? There she is. We saw a couple of white-tailed sea eagles flying over the fjord, and they were just huge, absolutely huge. But I'm just going to see if I can take a little bit of a panorama, not a massive one, but I'm going one shot there, one shot there, and one shot there. And now I'm going to have to, bear with me a second, try and do this one-handed. I'm going to zoom in there, see if I can get, bear with me. So what I was doing is then, I was just looking at the end, so there's an amazing bit of light on the very end, that prominent bit of land. So I've just zoomed in and I'm just getting that because it's surrounded by darkness. Because the snow is kind of, the snow clouds are amazing, so it's surrounded by darkness. So just focusing on that very end bit, so I'm getting a bit of a triangle. So hope you're enjoying this. I'll quickly show you where we are because there's a map over here. Bear with me a sec. Snow's quite deep. So look at the snow. Look at the snow. Here we are. Oh, that's a big. Oh. Here we are. So, welcome till Kvaløyvågen, maybe. So, yeah, we've come up the coast to here, and we're actually here. So we're looking across there. So we're here. Tromsø is down there. But anyway, I'm going to go back to the photography. So, but hope you enjoyed that bit. Speak to you soon. Well, that was a bit of an adventure. Wow, wow! But it was a bit of a thing getting here. Cut myself bleeding. We ended off the road in a ditch, coming up a hill, very icy. I think I maybe got a little bit too far over, and the next thing you know, in a ditch. We had to get a guy to come and drag us out. Very nice guy who spoke zero English, and fortunately, I was able to, in my very limited Norwegian, talk to him. But it's a place called Dåfjord. I think it's Dåfjord. I'll put the. I do apologise to any Norwegian speakers, but I'm trying my best. If you do speak Norwegian, let me know how you pronounce it properly. But what a scene! What an absolute scene! Just amazing, amazing conditions. Just beautiful, calm fjord, houses. Beautiful light. You've got to work really quickly in these circumstances because the snow's been coming and going. It's 1:30. Light will be going soon, so I'm going to work really quickly. But I just thought I'd show you this. Going to try some kind of panoramas, I've got using this rock, all sorts of stuff. But sorry, I'm not going to hang around. I'm going to concentrate on taking images, but I think you'll appreciate why. Special. Oh, what a place. What an absolute, what's the right word? Banger of a place. And I can't think of anything better to say that.
Stunning, dear.
Stunning, stunning. That's a good one. But it's just absolutely, it's still. It's really quiet. There's this little inlet here into the fjord and you can hear the ice cracking every now and then. It's cold, but it's not like teeth chattering cold. And then the sun is actually off down behind those mountains, so it's just projecting the last bit of light onto those mountains over there. And I thought actually this was a good time to talk about exposing to the right, if that makes. So you can see here that you know, I've got a lot of contrast. There's this, the composition I've got here has got this curve of this like inlet, and there's a little tree here that helps, kind of cute little tree. But then there's the bright lights, or the bright lights shining on the snow. So I'm taking images looking that way. And I'll show you the back of the camera in a second. But I'd take my exposure from the mountain with the snow on because it's the brightest. So I'm going to take that image now. But if you look, hopefully you can see this. If you look at the histogram, it's all central. You know, it's a big peak there, which will be that light probably. And then it's all kind of central. There's nothing at the two ends. So exposing to the right is a technique where you go almost as far as you possibly can. I hope this shows up on the GoPro. So all my exposure histogram is weighted to the right. And what I'll do, I'll take that image there. And what it means is, hopefully, that I'll be able to claim some of that detail out of the dark shadow. So when you're exposing to the right, you don't over worry about the highlights unless they're really blown out. But you expose to the right and it lets you draw kind of the detail out in the darkness. And then when you post-process, you can deal with the highlights. So that's a theory anyway, but this looks like a really nice place to try it because the ice here is just, there's shapes, there's bits sticking up, there's swirls, so hopefully I can claim some of that. I could do a couple of exposures, one for here and one for the light, but just so I demonstrate exposing to the right, you've got your histogram. And the reason it's called exposing to the right is because your histogram, the peaks are towards the right of the frame. So hopefully that works and comes out as a nice image. Oh well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's going to be dark soonish, so I'm going to get back on the road and try not to end up in any ditches this time. But look at this. This car just gone past this. I'm still pinching myself to believe I'm actually in the Arctic Circle. I've wanted to come to the Arctic Circle for a long time. I've wanted to see the Northern Lights, wanted to be in northern Norway. I love Norway, we've been before, but this northern part of Norway is just incredible. And it's all thanks to my wife, Una. She's an amazing person. She can hear me, that's why I'm saying this. She's an amazing person. Oh, she's an amazing person, and she bought me this for my 50th birthday present. So hope you enjoyed the view. You won't have enjoyed it as much as I have, but just stunning. If you get the chance to come to Tromsø and the northern part of Norway, grab the opportunity with both hands.